Hey guys, what is up? Mage here, doing another World of Tanks console review today, guys. We're going to be reviewing the Centurion Action 10. This is the new British Tier 10 medium tank. It has replaced the FV4202. If you have the FV4202, basically this tank will replace it, and the FV4202 will be rewarded to you as a free Tier 8 premium tank. That's very nice for gaming. So, let's go ahead and get on into the packages for the Action 10. Because it's a Tier 10 medium, it doesn't have any packages, it doesn't, you don't have to do any kind of grind, it's all ready to go. The engine for this tank will be 1040 horsepower. Your gun will be the Royal Ordnance L7A2 105mm gun. Your rate of fire will be 6.98 rounds a minute. Your penetration will be 268mm with standard APCR ammo, and your damage will be 390 average alpha. Your aiming time will be 2.10 seconds, and your accuracy will be 0.32. This is a pretty crisp handling gun, and it handles similar to the gun on the 4202, so I haven't had any issues with it. I haven't noticed any differences. If there is any, that could be because of how much quicker this machine is, which I'll touch on in a little bit. Track traverse will be 50 degrees a second. Turret armor will be 198mm from the front, 152 from the sides, 95 in the back. Your turret traverse speed will be 48, and your view range will be 410, and your signal range will be 750 meters. This is anybody that's played the FV4202 will tell you it wasn't a bad tank for what it was. It was a niche tank. It was a ridgeline proximity sniping kind of medium tank. It really did not do what these fuckers could do. It could not do what the T62A or the Object 140 could do. Those things were general purpose. You could snipe, you could scout, you could flank, you could do it all. Now, it wasn't like the 4202 could not flank. I mean, every medium tank in this game is very capable and competent flanking. But what makes a good medium tank is you generally got to have speed. You got to be hitting, I would argue, you have to be hitting 48 to 50 kph to be relevant in this game at Tier 10 as a medium tank. The FV4202 topped out at about 40 kph, so it was not getting anywhere really fast at all. It was good running from hill to hill. It was good shifting around on a sand dune. That was all it really was. It was a sniper. It was a ridgeline fighter with gun depression and DPM. That was it. That was the problem with the 4202. And the turret really wasn't all that great. Though I would argue it was better than most people give it credit for, it was still not that great. So what does the Action 10 bring to the table? Well, the first thing you should know, this is a bigger tank than the FV4202, so that's really the only real downgrade on this tank compared to the 4202. However, the Action 10 can top out, I've had it top out around 52 to 53 kph on a regular basis on flat surfaces. This son of a bitch will get up and go. It's maneuverable. It's the gun is plenty for the job. I haven't had any issues with it. If there is any kind of issues with the gun, it's purely because this tank is much more quicker than its old Tier 10 predecessor. It's a fantastic tank. Let's go ahead and look at the armor on this thing. This is another thing they brought in since the patch. And I'm not going to talk about the hull because if you're talking British mediums, most people accept the hulls are crap, starting at Tier 8 up to Tier 10. I would argue this hull is, it'll get you a few bounces, but I don't think it's anything you should rely on. The turret, well, that's 71 to 90 millimeters. However, you have to think it's angled, and if you're, and the reason I got the camera down so low, if you're actually doing your thing in the Centurion Action 10, and you're aiming down at people, they're going to have a weird angle to try and hit this thing. That turret top is going to be a lot more difficult to go through. And parts of the armor here are at about 91 to 120. There is your that is the front hull and parts of the turret. Once again, you can see it's pretty angled, and if you're aiming down, that becomes a much more difficult part to go through. 121 to 160, a little bit more difficult. Very similar situation. You notice with the turret, it's a little bit more angled. The generally that commander's cupola, catch, whatever you want to call it, can be vulnerable, but once again, if you're shooting down at people, it's a lot more easier for this thing to get bounces. And then this is 191 to 230. This I find to be a little suspicious, and I don't take it as seriously because I'd have to post a gameplay actually demonstrating where you hit these things. But if you hit this tank just right in the turret, surrounding the immediate area surrounding the gun, not that little strip you see surrounding it, but even outside that strip, if you hit it just right, you're going to go through it. It's very similar to the FV4202 in that sense. Otherwise, this turret is a lot more consistent feeling compared to the 4202s. It still has that same weak spot. If you hit it right in those cheeks or the immediate area surrounding the gun, I've been able to go through it. With standard APCR ammo, no issues at all. I've had zero problems going through this thing. This is a good upgrade of a tank. It is far better than the FV4202. I'm going to go ahead and switch to some gameplay. I'll catch you guys back here in a moment. Okay guys, here we are on Mountain Pass Snow. It is a standard paddle. Equipment to run on this tank. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. I run coated optics and rammer, pretty standard for most medium tank drivers. I do have vents on this thing, and that was from when I ran the FV4202, and considering how I played the 4202, I didn't play it super aggressive, so I wasn't really looking to make on-the-move shots, but because this tank is quicker, you can be a little bit more aggressive, you can play a more general-purpose, generalist kind of role. So, if I had to do it all over again, I'd remove the vents, and I'd put the vert stab on here, but you can see you can still make it work even without the vert stab. This gun is pretty damn consistent. Some people have made the comparison that this is basically a big fat STB-1 without the derpy gun handling. I think that's a pretty darn reasonable comparison. You'll see here right off the bat, when I take this tank, I'm going to try to actually use the speed of it to get into position. I wouldn't be able to get into position this quickly with the FV4202. I probably would have got there a reasonable amount of time, but would not have gotten the early shots here like I did early on. We plant a shot into the 5041. As you can see, gun's pretty darn good, and the reload speed is exceptional. I'm very content with it. We get a little overconfident, and we try to sneak a shot into that Carnivon. It wasn't happening. I should have aimed a little bit higher, but here's the accuracy, right into the lower glacis of that T-5041. This is a good sniping medium, and that's its specialty. It is a medium tank that's quick enough. It does do what some of the Russian mediums do. However, rather than being a stealthy, sneaky, scouting, flanking kind of medium tank, it's a medium tank that is general purpose, but it's good as a ridgeline sniper. It's very good in that role. Now, I'm taking advantage of this rock here, and I'm using it to cover up my hull, and I'm only trying to expose my turret. Now, you'll notice though, I'm still very aloof with this tank. I mean, in medium tanks in general, especially at tier 10, you shouldn't rely on your armor. Now, even though the turret is much better, I feel it's more consistent than the turret on the FV4202. You notice I don't hang around too long, and that's because I was pointing out earlier, you can punch through this turret if you are much better with your aim. You can't just auto-aim this thing right in the face. You actually have to aim for its weak spot. I poked the corner one more time. I'm looking to see if I can sneak a shot in. I think I should have hung around there a little bit longer, and I could have snuck a shot possibly into that E5. Anyways, I decide I've gotten what I want here. I got 3 good shots into the sides of those guys. So I'm going to go ahead and take off here, and I'm going to get this tank into position. IS-4 and a T-69 are hanging around. I try to make an on-the-move shot. You know, I don't know if I had the vert stab if I would have made that shot on the T-69, but then again, who's to say? It was on the move, so you can't necessarily count on anything. So I'm round the corner here, and I'm being careful. I know there's a Carnivon sitting there in the middle. I'm careful poking the corner because I know the E5 rounded around through here, but he ain't around the corner yet. We sneak a shot into the Carnivon's turret, backing off. You can see right there, nice reload speed, and we're going to sneak another shot. I decided I wanted to take a trade with the Carnivon, but you know, I took a hit here from the Indian Panzer. and he took out my ammo rack, and now I'm panicking because the E5 finally rounded the corner. Now, I'm starting to back up, and I'm going to play a game of... I'm basically going to kite this dude. Now, I'm broken contact. I'm not spotted, but he keeps chasing me, and I'm backing up, and my intention was to back up until I had support from some other tanks, but you'll notice if you look at the minimap, he stops moving. I notice that, and then I stop moving, and it dawns on me this guy's going to turn around, and he's going to go fight the other guys. He's going to try to get a crossfire going. So I take advantage, run around the corner here. I catch the back of his hull, basically caught the dude slipping. And now I'm working on this reload speed. Now I'm going to take a hit from him. I miscalculated him turning around that quickly. We plant a shot into his lower glacis. We know his ammo rack has been damaged, so he isn't going to be able to beat my reload. And we plant a shot right into his lower glacis, and we finish him off. We're going to take advantage of the mobility of this tank here shortly. And we're going to move up again. Surprise this T-54 and this IS-7 that's now sitting on the corner. Now, I'm being careful here. I'm trying to use the hill. I'm trying to use this wreck here to cover up my hull. But the T-54 ain't got much of a shot. And I'm being very cautious, and he ain't paying attention. So we go ahead and we smack the IS-7 here right into the side of his tank. We damage his ammo rack. We're going to back off. T-54 is fishing around. And I'm in a kind of a screwy situation here because I don't want to sit here and look at this T-54 all day. So I take a chance, finish him off, but I take a slap from the IS-7. I decided I had the hit points to trade, so I wanted to just go ahead and get that T-54 out of the way. And I didn't want to sit there all game and stare at him. So I went on ahead and got him out of the way. And we got one less gun out of the fight. It was a necessary trade, I felt. We go ahead and plant another shot into the IS-7, so we've put 2 into his ass for his 1 he's gotten into me. So, you know, it's okay. I'm willing to accept that trade. Keep an eye on that IS-4. Wasn't too sure if he was going to flank. Our teammate in the 50M gets the IS-7 out of the way. So it was worthwhile, and we've gotten control of this match, and the game is pretty much over. I only make one little mistake here at the end. It could have went horribly wrong. I overcommitted on the corner against this Waffenträger. And you'll notice when I go around this corner, I do have a nice ample supply of Hesh rounds. That's something to think about on British medium tanks. I keep a nice supply alongside my premium ammo. I think it's necessary in these situations. You can get nice damage rolls on Waffles. Plus you can get those nice one-shots on Artie, because you got to get tanks out of the way as fast as you can at tier 10. Overall thoughts? This is a good tank. This is fantastic. It's a good general purpose tank. It's basically, it does a lot of the things the M48 does, but better. Much better handling, accurate gun. Well, I take that back. It's a much more accurate gun. The gun handling, not quite as good, but it's all kind of forgiven thanks to the accuracy. You can see right there, I could have been disaster. I overcommitted, but it was all cool. It looks like the guy actually AFK'd or he was reloading, but in any case, non-issue. The gun is more accurate than the one on the M48, so it's a fantastic gun, and it's much more quicker. It does a lot of the things the Patton does, and then some. Fantastic tank. I recommend it outright. Go for it. 5,000 damage done. Good game. I was happy with the results. Alright, guys. Catch you guys later. Peace out.